Hello everyone! Patch 7.2 added questlines to unlock new traits for your artifact, which is obtainable after getting 35 traits in your weapon. While we do focus our efforts on Assault in the Broken Shore and the Tomb of Sigryn, we must be careful to guard against other threats as well. We've been getting disturbing reports on the Legion starting or supporting indirect threats to Azeroth. While fighting against the Legion, we must keep an eye out for strange objects or intelligence that could give us a clue as to what and where these threats are. We find a mysterious runebound scroll on the corpse of our enemy, which confirms our concerns about indirect Legion threats. It's time to discuss this with the Council of Six in Dalaran.
Without you, come. I think this is a matter best discussed privately.
Damn it! Another attack. Stay alert.
Upstairs, we find dead demons on the floor and an unconscious Consul of Winehouse. She'll be okay though. The demon didn't hang around long enough to finish the job, but the ill tidings that we bear, it only increased the concerns that the Council's been having. We have our hands full with the Tomb of Sigryn, which is our top priority, but we must not think the Legion foolish enough to rely on brute force alone.
As you can see, the Legion's reach still extends beyond the Broken Shore. Their agents lurk across Azeroth, threatening to subvert our efforts at the tomb. They are some of the Legion's most powerful champions.
If the plans of these fiends come to fruition, all our efforts, all our sacrifices will have been for naught. Much has been asked of you in the course of this war, champion. I fear even more is needed. We must enlist your help to hunt these targets down. You may be the only one with any chance of stopping them.
So what do you say, up for a challenge?
Excellent. I can think of no one better suited to the task. We stand ready to inform you about all known threats.
This questline, to my knowledge, is available for Arcane Mage, Assassination Rogue, Enhancement Shaman, Demonology Warlock, and the Retribution Paladin. A scout arrived yesterday with a significant discovery. Ancient scrolls which contain a Valkyria prophecy of a new Vrykul ruler, one who could turn the Tideskorn against the Legion. The prophecy, it says, in ages to come, the Tideskorn break. By burning foe in hearts of flame. The clan sundered, his spear struck deep. The war within feeds the foe without. But from his ashes our hopes arise. Of king and maiden, of spear and shield. Shadowed from watchers, she seeks no throne. But rule she must, lest the Tideskorn fall. Among the outcasts, she hides from fate. In Skolder shield, her destiny waits. Blessed by Heir, her spear must seek unworthy rulers and would-be kings. But as she rises, so too she falls, with heavy heart of God King's blood. What once was friend will turn to foe, a final battle with twisted sides. From her fall, a queen will rise, chosen by titans, Vrykul and men, to take the spear to burning foes and retake the tides long scorned. It slightly complicates matters that this Vrykul may in fact be Skoval's heir, the God King that we competed with during our adventures in Stormheim. We're told to take the scroll, find the heir and bring her to the Valkyria, and they think that the outcast mentioned in the prophecy that they mean the Vrykul of Janvik, so that would be a good place to start.
Trust in your... One minor detail. If this prophesied leader truly is the God King's heir, Skoval's demise may prove to be a point of contention. So, just to be safe, I wouldn't mention how the would-be God King met his end.
In town, we're eventually informed about a wandering shield maiden who came through just recently, and she set up camp outside of town. She wandered through only long enough to purchase supplies and avoided all eye contact while she was there. They were going to check on her to find out her business, but we're welcome to go in their stead, and on the beach to the east we find Sigryn, who warns us not to spread around that she's a child of Skovald. There are those who would hunt her down if they knew her bloodline. Now she doesn't know who we are, nor does she believe to be part of any prophecy, but if we seek to undo the damage that her father has done to the Tideskorn, then she feels obliged to assist us.
I will be hunted no longer. I will meet you at Valdestal in Stormheim. We should be able to reach Skolder Shield from there.
Together, we journey to Valdestal to reach Skolder Shield and request an audience with Heir. Perhaps she can shed some light on this prophecy.
We must take care traveling through Stormheim, outsider. Being the daughter of Skovald has won me many enemies. My last moments here were spent escaping the clutches of assassins sent to murder my family. Be forewarned, they may still be on the hunt. Movement in the trees! Watch out!
Now there's supposed to be an ambush here, but as you can see, somebody already did this before us and they dealt with the threats.
It would seem that escaping my past was too much to hope for. I will never forget the night they came. My mother fell before my eyes, and they had descended on my brother before I managed to escape. After that night, I was alone, the last of my bloodline. Another ambush! Bear your steel! Cowardly scum! I would hunt down every one of them, and their masters as well, if I knew who sent them. It's no use, though. They never failed to elude my grasp. I must concentrate on the task at hand. I take solace knowing they will be judged by the gods when their time comes. Skolda Shield. As a girl, my mother told me stories of this place, and its mighty shield maidens. It is as grand as she described it. The armor these women wear reminds me of my mother's.
Priestess Hala is surprised to see us return, and she asks us what we're doing here. We explain the situation, that the God King's heir has come to seek an audience, and at first she thinks we're talking nonsense. Then she recognizes the face, and she escorts us to Heir, since the child of prophecy has finally arrived.
So the blood of Skovald has returned to the Valkyria. Do you know what this means, child?
This outsider says I am to unite the Tideskorn.
The outsider speaks true. Long ago, I foresaw the Valkyria uniting the Tideskorn against a terrible foe. At its head would stand a descendant of God King and Shield Maiden. As a child of Skovald, you hold a claim to his throne. Any who dispute your right to rule must be made to bend the knee. Fail, and the Tideskorn will splinter, leaving nothing to stop the Legion from overtaking Stormheim. I know this is a great burden on you, child, but you may be our only hope.
Very well. If I truly am so important to the Tideskorn, then I cannot turn my back on this task. I will be your instrument. Tell me what I must do.
We join Sigryn on our quest of silencing any that would challenge her claim to the throne. First up is Runeseer Valjar of the Bone Speakers, who used to be a close ally of the God King Skovald, and he was the one responsible for sending us into Helheim.
I will ride ahead to Hostford. I would be honored if you would join me there. Runeseer Valjar! I am Sigryn, blood of Skovald. In the name of the Valkyria, I challenge you for the rule of the Tideskorn.
So, the God King's whelp comes to finish what he started. Skovald's time is done,
Cease
girl,
your prattling,
as yours
Runeseer.
soon shall be. Ancestors, to my side!
So, you will not face me in single combat? The hallowed bones of our ancestors would balk at such dishonor.
Foolish girl, these bones answer to me, not your misguided honor.
If you will not honor me, then I will break you. Champion, help me put down this cur.
You have your father's fury, Shield Maiden, but I also sense in you his darkness. Stay your blade.
Cease your prattling, Runeseer.
I am defeated. It seems I underestimated you.
Cease your
Shield
prattling, Runeseer.
Skovald's legacy, it appears, has not yet ended.
The Bone Speakers yield and will not interfere with Sigryn's claim to the throne. Valjar does give us a warning to be careful of Sigryn, since he can see the darkness that once consumed Skovald, it's now dwelling in her heart. How she has resisted it this far, he does not know, but he hopes that she can maintain control. His words, they do trouble Sigryn. Perhaps Skovald's fell curse has passed on to her somehow, but for now she has to put those words to the side and focus on the next challenge, getting Jarl Velbrand of the Drekkajar to her side.
I will continue to Tideskorn. See you there. Sorry for the mess. The Yvar thought one of his pets could slow me down. Come, let's take the fight to him. Jarl Velbrand, as the blood of Skovard, and at the behest of Heir, I claim the throne of the Tideskorn. Will you yield?
I don't care if you're the daughter of Odin himself, girl. I'll skewer you for your impudence. The Drekkajar never yield! Hold! You have proven your strength. I am defeated. The Drekkajar will back your claim to the throne. But there is another that should cause greater concern.
We have the backing of the Dragon Riders, but surprisingly enough, an even greater rival to the throne still lives in secret. Velbrand's riders, they've spotted the God King's son amongst the outcasts of Vrecht. Sigryn's brother still lives. She can't imagine how he defeated the assassins, but we should travel to Vrecht and find Torvald immediately.
We should waste no time. To Vrecht!
Sister, it's been a long time since you left me for dead.
Torvald, it is you! I didn't want to leave you, but I wasn't strong enough. How did you survive the assassins?
How? I embraced the gift that Father left us. The one you and Mother so vehemently denied.
Oh no, Torvald. You succumbed to the Fel. But how?
It seems you don't remember our father feeding us the Fel. The sickness it caused in you must have clouded your mind. Something in our blood made us resist its influence, but it remains within. All you need to do is give in.
No! I will never be a tool for the Legion!
Poor sister. If you will not join me, then you are my enemy! Give in, sister! Only through the Fel could you hope to defeat me!
No! I will not share your fate!
No! It's not possible!
I am sorry, brother. I cannot allow the Legion to corrupt the Vrykul.
You think your master so superior to mine? Perhaps you should ask them who sent the assassins for us that night. Maybe then you will see.
No! Brother! He's gone.
Fate is cruel, to have her find her brother alive, only to see him fall to her own blade. His words still haunt her. If Heir knows who ordered her family to be killed, then she deserves to know before accepting the crown. It's time to return to Heir and get some answers.
Fight with honor, great Heir. As you bid me, I have defeated the rival claimants to the throne of the Tideskorn. However, if I am to serve you as queen, I have something to ask in return.
Very well. Ask it, child.
Tell me, who ordered the death of my mother?
Oh, child, no good can come of such truths. Do you truly wish to know?
I do.
So be it. It was Odin himself who ordered the deaths of Skovald's family.
What?
Odin feared that the God King's heirs would offer the Tideskorn into the hands of the Legion. He decreed that the lineage of Skovald be ended in blood.
My brother was right. The Titan Watchers have no more honor than the Legion.
Sigryn, no! You must not let the darkness take hold.
I will show Odin what true fear looks like. Even if I have to tear down the halls of valor around him! Mother, I come to avenge you!
Sigryn, what have you done?
The news of Odin himself ordering her family to be murdered, it has led to Sigryn taking the same path as Skovald before. By embracing the Fel, she has become truly powerful, but she'll still be no match for Odin and we must stop her before it's too late. Doing so is easier said than done, since Odin will close the gates of Valor as soon as he becomes aware of Sigryn's assault. We'll have to find another way into the halls, but first we return to the Kirintor and we inform them about what has happened. Khadgar believes that this might be the fall that the scrolls mentioned, and if that's true, then there may still be hope of uniting the Tideskorn against the Legion. They'll be in touch once they find a way into the halls, so we can try to stop Sigryn. Now our heroic deeds so far, they merit more than mere recognition. The council wants to reward our heroism in the face of such darkness with a portion of their power.
Farewell. Step back and raise your weapon. We will infuse it with a portion of this council's power.
Our power manifests. Kirin Valtarel. Amshala. Azakim.
Together, we must all lend our strength.
I will scout ahead and see what I can find near this tomb. Find me at the broken shore.
The Legion sought to use its agents to subvert our efforts at the tomb of Sargeras. Thanks to your efforts, they failed. Now, we focus on driving their armies from Azeroth. We will give everything we have and finish this, once and for all.
Greetings.
High Lord, once again you have fought to safeguard Azeroth's future. On behalf of the entire council, thank you.
This is where the story to unlock her trait ends, but Sigryn is still out there, and with the Maze Tower built up on a broken shore, we have our way into the Halls of Valor to try and stop her before it's too late.
Outsider, Sigryn has stormed the Halls of Valor, determined to confront Odin. In her blind rage, she races headlong to her doom. Your Kirintor have found the means to convey you into Odin's halls. Hurry, Sigryn must be made to see reason before it is too late. The fate of the Tideskorn rests in your hands. Gods be with you, outsider.
You cannot hide behind these walls forever, Odin! What's this? The outsider has come to stop me? I owe you much, but I cannot allow you to impede my quest for justice. I will give you a choice. Live here or die.
This is where the true challenge begins, and you actually require a bit of gear and skill with the class. Something that I was lacking at first, the first time the tower was up, but I was able to complete the challenge after filling up my artifact a bit more, so I can actually show you the conclusion.
Very well. You have chosen death.
The main object is to bring Sigryn down to 20% health to make her see reason, but just bursting her down like that would be far too easy. At her side stand the allies that we've helped her get, Runeseer Faljar and Jarl Velbrand. The Runeseer is constantly casting, so he's a little bit difficult to maneuver, but you do want to try and move him away from Velbrand, since he will be the first to be empowered and start moving towards you.
The Drekajar never yield!
You can slow him down or stun him, just don't let him attack you while empowered, since he hits like a truck. Sigryn will keep tossing her spear at you, making patches of fel on the floor which you don't want to stand in, until Faljar places several runes on the ground. They are different sizes and shrink until they detonate, which instantly kills you, so you need to run over them to dispel them. Now luckily, you do get a bit of assistance from the Halls of Valor itself, with occasional orbs that are dropped down on the field. These orbs they heal you, which is a very good thing, since a lot of things hurt during the encounter, like Velbrand tossing his axes at you, and although you can avoid them, it is a little bit tricky.
The power of my father's blood flows through me!
Sigryn calls upon her father's gift to empower herself, which does immense damage if you don't crowd control her, so make sure to have a macro ready to place repentance on her once she starts casting, and then go back to DPSing the Runeseer, since we need to bring him down first. You got some free time to DPS him alone until Velbrand stops throwing his weapon and stands with the Runeseer. At this point it's the Runeseer that will be empowered, which means he calls upon the power of his ancestors, slowly casting his spell while inside a protected protect his shield.
I draw upon the power of my ancestors!
This is the only main DPS check that you have during the encounter. You need to do enough damage to burst his bubble and interrupt his spell. If you don't, and he does finish his casting, then you will instantly die.
I command legions, mortal!
The fun doesn't end there though, since Sigryn has gained the command over several Dark Valkyr that line up at the edges of the battle and are ready to charge it down. The only blessing is that one of the Valkyr, they constantly refuse to show up for duty, leaving a gap wide enough to stand in to survive this attack. Keep in mind that surviving is a lot better than doing insane damage, so make sure to find your safe space.
Behold, the speed of my axe!
Valbrand doesn't need to be empowered to do some serious damage, as he gladly shows you the speed of his axe in a Bladestorm attack, an attack that you need to move away from to avoid serious damage. Those are the basic abilities that you're going to deal with, and they quickly start to ramp up. They start to combo with each other, and again, surviving this encounter beats doing maximum damage. First we have Sigryn, who tries to call upon her blood of her father again, so reapply the repentance. Runes are placed on the floor in combo with a wave of Valkyr, so get the smallest rune dispelled while finding your safety gap. A second set of runes, followed by another wave of Valkyr into the Ancestral Knowledge spell, which is a good moment to pop your cooldowns and start doing some serious damage, since all of them will be active and they do share the damage taken. Avoid the wave of Valkyr while trying to find the clean spots on the floor, since the Fel, it does do a fair bit of damage. Next is a bunch of runes with an empowered Valbrand and the wave of Valkyr, so dispel the smallest rune, slow and stun Valbrand, find your safety gap, cleanse the second set of runes, and go back to DPSing. Next, we have a set of runes, a wave of Valkyr, a Bladestorm, and a Blood of her Father, so make sure to avoid the wave, move away from the storm, and cast Repentance on Sigryn. In this take, I was able to smoothly avoid everything and control it, but I had moments where I simply popped my bubble at this point because it was simply too much. Don't worry though, the fight will get easier. So apply the CC, avoid the wave of Valkyr, DPS Jarl and Runeseer until he does another Bladestorm. At that point, you need to move away. Another wave of Valkyr, just before the Runeseer hides inside his bubble, and if you've made it this far into the encounter, then congratulations, the hard part is behind you. At this point, the only abilities that you have to deal with are the waves of Valkyr, the Runeseer bubble instant death spell, and if you decide to let it walk around, there will be Sigryn who's throwing a spear around and creates patches of fel on the floor. You could try to keep it controlled as much as possible with your crowd control, which will lower the damage that you take throughout the fight, but I didn't bother. Justica's Vengeance allows you to heal up pretty much all the damage that you take, but do keep in mind that you won't be healed if you use it on the Runeseer when he's shielded. I did this fight with an item level of 893, with the talents Final Verdict, the Fires of Justice, Repentance, Blade of Wrath, Justica's Vengeance, Cavalier, and Divine Purpose. You'll have to take Repentance to keep Sigryn under control, and while I have recently switched to Divine Hammer for overall DPSing, I found it to screw me over during an attempt where I accidentally broke Sigryn out of her crowd control, so I switched back to Blade of Wrath. Justica's Vengeance is an immense help with staying alive during the fight, and it combos very nicely with Divine Purpose. Cavalier is very nice to move quickly over the runes, as well as finding your safety gap within the waves of the Valkyr. Now my artifact, that has the new traits filled up, plus an extra point in Avenging Wrath, and you can check out my armory for the gear that I used. I think the main thing that really helped me out gear-wise was the Tideskorn legendary, which gives you a nice shield to cover some of the damage. Now the guys that I read, it mentioned that you were supposed to take the Runeseer down before Sigryn, since apparently he would start casting his shield death spell combo rapidly, but in my kill I ended up with the Jarl at 0% and the Runeseer at 7% when Sigryn kneeled down and decided not to let the Fel take her. If I was a better player, then I would have kept an eye on her health and brought it down to 20% much earlier.
What? What am I doing? This is not right!
You must overcome the corruption, Sigryn. You have the strength!
But, Mother, I must avenge your death!
Vengeance will not bring her back, Sigryn. Your people require a leader. If you fail, the Tideskorn are doomed.
No, the Fel will not take me! It will not! Forgive me, Heir.
Sigryn is thankful that we came for her and is ready to accept whatever judgment Heir deems fit.
Wondrous Heir, I come to humbly beg your forgiveness for what I've done. I will accept whatever punishment you deem just.
I am pleased to see you returned. My judgment is this. You are to assume the burden of the crown. You must become God Queen.
What? Surely after the mistakes I've made, I am unfit to rule our people.
You possess the strength and will to overcome the Fel. Something no Vrykul before you has ever done. I know now that my visions were true. You are destined to unite the Tideskorn against the Legion. Can you set aside your misgivings and do what is needed for your people?
I will. If it takes my last breath, I will unite the Tideskorn once more, so that we may drive the Legion from this land.
It is done! Rise, Sigryn! I name you God Queen of the Tideskorn!
It seems you were right, outsider. Thank you for helping me find my path.
To think that she had all intentions of living out her days as a farmer, and now she is the one who's the God Queen of the Tideskorn. Sigryn will do everything in her power to unite the Tideskorn against the Legion, and although our people may never truly be allies with the Tideskorn, we do have a common enemy, one which her people will fight to the last. When the time comes, she hopes to see us on the battlefield as we go back to Khadgar and inform him of what has happened. He's very glad that Sigryn will lead the Vrykul instead of the brutes who challenged her claim, and he hopes that she can unite the Tideskorn under her banner before the Legion has this place overrun. Despite the council already giving what power they could, they still like to present us with a little cosmetic upgrade to the artifacts. On behalf of the Council of Six, Dalaran and all of Azeroth, they thank us. And that is how you unlock this specific skin for the artifacts, and I personally love this challenge. I can't speak for other classes and other challenges of course, but this one, as a Retribution Paladin, I thought it was brilliant. There's a very nice learning curve as to how you're going to avoid these abilities, and it's very rewarding in the end. Which means that we reached the end of this video, so thank you very much for watching everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and until next time guys, see ya!